Mondays. I'm Dr. L and this is
Professor I.
And we are so happy to see you back again with us. We hope you've tried the experiment that we did last week, the pendulum painting. And this week, it's kind of a magic trick. It's called blow up a balloon with yeast. So let's talk about the supplies that we need. All right, Miss Professor I, would you like to show them what they're going to need for this?
So, very important, you're going to need a balloon.
Yes, and we pre-blew it up just to kind of stretch it because, you know, balloons are kind of hard in the beginning when you go to blow them up. So we kind of wanted to loosen it up a little bit. So Miss Professor I blew hers up, okay?
Here we have a plastic bottle. What if this used to be, what, a juice bottle or something?
Oh, something my husband drinks, I don't even know. But, you know, you can use a smaller bottle than this. Might even work better, I'm not sure. A water bottle if you have it. You just want to have it cleaned out, okay?
Here we have some activated yeast packs.
Get those right at the grocery store in the baking aisle.
And some sugar packs here that we have.
Right, you're going to need to put a little sugar with the yeast, and I'll tell you why.
We have a measuring cup here with some warm water, which Miss Dr. L will explain to you in just a little bit. And we have here a funnel.
And you don't really have to have the funnel, but sometimes you can make a mess when you're pouring into the mouth of a plastic bottle. So we're going to start out. We're going to put this warm water, about an inch of warm water in here. Then we're going to put this whole packet of yeast in. Now you probably don't even know what yeast is used for, but unless your mom bakes bread. If your mom bakes bread, she usually is going to use yeast. And believe it or not, what's inside this little package is alive. It's little live organisms, and they will react with our warm water, and they're going to react and eat up the sugar that's in there, in the water that's dissolved. And what happens is then it starts to give off a gas, and the gas is called carbon dioxide gas. Now, when you breathe in, your lungs take oxygen. When you breathe out, you give off carbon dioxide gas. And that's the gas that's going to be produced with the chemical reaction of the yeast, the sugar, the warm water. So let's get started. This is called blow up a balloon with yeast. Okay, so first let's put about an inch of that warm water, and it's warm, it's not hot. I think if the water gets too hot, it might kill the yeast. So we're just gonna eyeball it. An inch, keep going, keep going. That might be, what do you think? Is that about an inch?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so she's put an inch, maybe a little bit more, just
a
tiny bit more. Our bottle's pretty big, okay. Now you can use the funnel and you can put the yeast in there if you want. And that's why we brought the scissors, just to open up the packet, but you could just tear it too.
I think I'm gonna use the scissors.
Yeah.
Whoop.
For a little while, yeast was very hard to get when we began our pandemic, because I tried to do this experiment earlier because people were making bread. Okay.
And I pour the whole package
Yep,
in?
the whole package goes in. Now we need to feed that yeast, and you know what it needs? Sugar. Okay, so go ahead and pour a packet of sugar in there.
Open one of these for me?
Yeah, sure. Let's see, I didn't open it all the way. And that yeast is going, woohoo, sugar! All right, now, the only thing you need to do is mix that whole mixture around. Just keep shaking it, shaking it, shaking it so we get that sugar mixed up in with the water. If you want, you can put your cap back on so it doesn't spill out. Okay, so we're going to see if a chemical reaction begins to happen, the release of that carbon dioxide gas, and the way we're going to prove it is putting the balloon. You think that's an inch? I guess it is. And I'm going to keep stirring it while you're stretching out that balloon a little bit. We want to get all that mixed up. And now this is the tricky part, because it's easy to poke a hole in a balloon. You're going to put the mouth of the balloon over the mouth of the bottle. And it is a little tricky. And I already broke 1 or 2 balloons trying this. And then here's the thing. You have to have patience because it takes a little while for the yeast to react with the sugar and the water, and the warm water, okay? It just starts to expand and grow and it gives off a gas. So I did this when it was warmer. And so I want you to think about, does the temperature of the room have any impact on the experiment? If you're making bread, after you mix the flour and the sugar and the yeast and whatever else you mix in there, usually they say, okay, now put your bread in a pan and then you let it rise. So you put it somewhere. If I've made bread before, I've put like maybe a kitchen towel over it. A lot of times I'll put it in the oven where it's not getting the cold air that might be in the house, and slowly, slowly, slowly that bed rises. Once it rises to the height it's supposed to get, then you bake it, which kills off the yeast, actually, and that's how your bread is made. So bread has a lot of air in it, has a lot of carbon dioxide. So far, we're not seeing much happen. Well, I did this a little bit earlier before we came into the room and did the experiment because I knew this was going to take a while, and I bet you if I leave it overnight, that balloon will be pretty blown up. So this has been about an hour.
Whoa.
Okay? It's been the yeast and sugar have reacted, and it's given off some of the gas and it gets trapped in the balloon. So the balloon is starting to blow up. This guy has taken its time, and we don't want to take your time, but I want to see if it works for you. So all you need is that water bottle, a package of yeast, a package of sugar, or a teaspoon of sugar, and some warm water. Not too hot, warm, okay? And you mix it all together, and then you just let your experiment go, and you just wait a little bit and see what happens. See if your balloon blows up, okay? When I did it this summer, left it overnight, and the balloon was really, really big. It had blown up quite a bit. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to Mad Science Mondays. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure what we're doing next week. I think we could be making ice cream.
Ooh, I hope so.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite ice cream?
Vanilla.
That's what we're making.
Oh, perfect.
I know. Okay, so remember we post everything on Sundays, all the supplies. We do our experiment on Monday at 4:30, and it'll be up on Facebook. You can tune in anytime and give it a try. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Professor I. Thanks for helping.
Bye, thank you.
I always like working with you. 2 brains are for sure better than 1, okay? And remember the gas that's being given off, what's it called? Do you remember?
Carbon dioxide gas.
Exactly. All right.